Welcome to Planet Marzipan Podcast,
your fish and Marillion podcast,
where we talk about all things in the planet of Marillion and fish. I'm Mezza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston.
Hello, welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Mezza. I'm here with my good friend,
Craig. Happy New Year.
Yes, happy 2026, listeners. We're back with our very infrequent Charting the Singles mini pod, and today we are talking about Cover My Eyes, as you can see from the title of the episode. We have got a plethora of hardcore fans for you today, building up the park, because they know their stuff, these guys. We welcome back to the pod James Levey.
Good evening.
Hi, James. Are you well?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Good, and to you too, sir. And we welcome back Gary Page.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, Gary. Very good,
Hi.
thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Brilliant. And we welcome Mikey Kay.
Hello again, guys.
Hi,
And
Mikey.
Happy New Year to everyone.
And to you. And we welcome back Stuart Clyde.
Hi, gents. Nice to be back.
Happy New Year, Stuart.
Happy New Year to you too, guys.
And we have a first timer on the pod now. We've known this gent for a long time, and
Long time.
finally nailed him down to get him on the podcast. He does listen, so he knows the score. And we welcome Dave Ibbott.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Dave. You well?
I mean, yeah, I am well. Technically, it's actually my second time on the pod, John. I don't know if
yes, you were on
recall.
the
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yes.
blinked and you missed it. I think I got a hello, and that was it. Because
I'm sorry. Yes,
when you did your first gig review, I was gone. I'm
We
afraid.
interviewed you in the pub, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I say interview. I said hello, and that was the limit of it, I think. So there we go.
The rest of it was swearing, David. We had to cut it out, you know.
I hope you weren't going to mention that.
Well, welcome to the podcast, mate. It's good to
Thank
see
you
you. I think because of it being David's first episode, and I know what might be coming up, I'm going to ask David to tell us his story about how he got into the band.
Okay. So I'm very much a Hogarth era Marillion fan. I guess like many, I was kind of aware of Marillion in the 80s. Heard Kaylee, thought it was okay. Didn't think much else of it at that stage. And then when I was at sixth form, I made friends with a good friend of ours, John and Craig, Mr. Andrew Davidson, and we kind of shared a love of lots of things musically, but mainly Genesis was a thing that we were into. And then sort of during that time, we'd kind of spend evenings around at each other's houses, listening to music. And then one evening, Andy was into Marillion, and I loved clutching at straws. As I say, it wasn't. I kind of felt it wasn't really for me at that point. But then one evening he played, I must play you this track from this new album, new Marillion album before I go, which was obviously Season's End. And he played me one track, and that was it. Any guesses what track that might have been?
Easter?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
I'm almost embarrassed to say it was Hooks in You.
was it?
Yeah, it was Hooks in You. I heard that and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. This is really good. I must go and buy it. So then I went out and bought the CD. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't a CD. I bought it on vinyl within a couple of days. And that was the start of it, really. I guess that would have been sort of sometime in '89. And then I guess in the next, Andy had already got tickets, I think, for the Christmas tour that year, and had gone to Hanley and said what a fantastic night it was. I was kind of jealous at the point. And then obviously the second part of the Season End tour came up, and I kind of did the typical kind of Marillion fan thing. I got two tickets for 2 nights and 3 evenings. So I went to Hull City Hall for my first show. Absolutely loved it. A couple of days later, got a ticket to go and see them at the Birmingham NEC. And I met somebody called Mr. John Merrick on that particular day.
Coach. Yeah, we got the coach from York, didn't we? Yeah.
We coached together. So I guess the rest is history. So that's kind of how it started. And 30 odd years later, I'm still there. So, and actually, and going back now, I guess I appreciate the fish stuff a bit more now than I did before I was into the band. There we go.
Did you go? Have you been to see Fish?
I've never seen Fish. No.
Okay.
not
All right.
not obviously not in the band and not solo either. So
No. Okay. Brilliant. Well, welcome. You're more than qualified. We know about your Marillion knowledge and your history. So, welcome to the podcast, and thanks for listening, because you have been listening. I know you send me messages again when I've said something wrong, usually. But Cover My Eyes, then, first single from Holidays in Eden, released on the 27th of May 1991. There is a Wikipedia entry for this track, isn't there, Mikey? But not the other two that we're going to talk about in the next couple of episodes.
I think there used to be Wikipedia. You know how we had the thing with the fish? There used to be Wikipedia entries for all the singles, but these ones seem to have disappeared again.
Well,
but before we start, I think on researching this single, I think we need to take a minute's silence at the beginning of this podcast for a solemn affair, because on Cover My Eyes video, it is the last ever time Mark Kelly had a ponytail. After that, the hair was gone.
All of it.
I think
All
before
of it.
that, the hair was gone, wasn't it? That was the issue.
Yeah. So minute silence for the ponytail. It was in the Cover My Eyes video, but everything since, when they played it on Countdown in the Netherlands and when they were on Top of the Pops and all the rest of it, it was gone in that short little period. So
Is it in the Racket Club now?
I think it's
framed on the
it's in the
wall.
wall somewhere.
Craig's got it.
Preserved in
Competition winner.
Mark, if you'd like to email Craig at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com, send any hair mail to that address. Okay. As I was about to say, on Wikipedia, Cover My Eyes is listed, and it says Cover My Eyes, Pain in Heaven is the lead single from the 1991 album Holidays in Eden by the British neo-prog band Marillion. A straightforward pop song, it peaked at number 34 in the UK singles chart, but reached number 14 in the Netherlands, becoming the band's biggest hit there since Kaylee. The band performed on Top of the Pops on the 6th of June 91, despite the song at the time being outside the top 40. The B-side was a non-album track, How Can It Hurt? The 12-inch vinyl and the 5-inch CD included exactly the same tracks as the 7-inch and cassette, plus another track from Holidays in Eden, The Party. And I'm not going to read that bit about a Mexican promo because I can't pronounce the title. Well, a Mexican promo was released with the Spanish title, Cubro Miss Ojo. And that's from the Craig Houston School of Pronunciation. Yeah, so I'll probably offended lots of people with that pronunciation, but
targets off my back for a week.
There's a couple of the guys on here we've talked before we recorded. This is a really important single to a couple of guys. Let's go to Gary first. Do you want to tell us about your story behind this single?
Yeah, pretty much the same as Dave, but a lot later. I was listening to a lot of pop music, like Pet Shop Boys, and I was watching the chart show. You remember the chart show Saturday morning? Just waiting for some like Level 42 or Pet Shop Boys, and this song came on, and I was like, "That's incredible." I mean, it appealed to my pop sensibilities. I loved H's voice, and so that kind of hooked me in really. And went out and bought the cassette single.
Oh yeah.
And had that for a long time. The only two songs I had were Cover My Eyes and How Can It Hurt. So I listened to those songs a lot, John.
And you're still here. How Can It Hurt on endless repeat? I would have ripped the wall, but we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah, and the next thing I bought Holidays in Eden on tape. So that was it. That was my gateway into Marillion. And like Dave, I'm here now, and it's changed my life.
Fantastic. Similar sort of story, James?
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on this before. I was watching late one night in around that period, the James Well radio show.
Yeah.
And saw the video to Cover My Eyes. The extended video when H walks in the room and sits in the chair and things start spinning round. And then that guitar riff hit. And I was like, oh, hello, this is good. And yeah, really, really liked it. Didn't really know much about the band at the time. Know a bit more since.
Just a bit, mate. Yeah,
just a bit. And then, like Gary, went out and bought the cassette single from record house in Aylesbury, and a couple of weeks later bought the cassette from the album Holidays in Eden. So it was the start of my love affair with the band, and I don't think my bank balance has recovered yet. So,
Yeah.
And
And
everybody,
recently, James, you've also gone really, really deep into Holidays with the making of, which is
Yes.
absolutely fantastic.
yeah. I mean, this is a song that nearly never made it, because they had the guitar riff really early on in the writing sessions for Holidays, and then had the chorus chords, and it just didn't marry up, and they tried so many different variations of it, and then it was on a tape which got sent to Chris Neal, when he was looking to become the producer for the album after Chris Kimsey ducked out, and thought, why don't you put this idea together with this idea together, and the song was finally born.
Is that where the Simon's Car stuff came out as well at that point?
Yeah, the sort of the Simon's Car chorusy bit was there, as just as a. It didn't really have the Simon's sort of the I sort of same as the Simon's Car, but you can see the influences in the song. There you go, Mikey showing it. But one interesting thing is I tracked down the other day, and this nearly went on the making of. It just got squeezed out. There was on the master mix, or the monitor mix of the single of the song. It's actually about 45 seconds longer because it doesn't get faded out, and there's a missing Rothery solo.
Oh man,
on the play out.
Can't have enough Rothery solos.
Yeah,
you'll have to release it, James. Just the solo. Just put it out under your own name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny with this song because there's different versions of being on different releases where the main solo in the song, there's a couple of bars longer and different or shorter in different versions.
Well, if Wikipedia is correct, the 7-inch single is 4 seconds longer than the 12-inch single.
Yeah, on the monitor mix, that solo in the middle is doubled. That was original, and then it was edited down.
Right. Okay. Does any of the rest of the guys want to talk about where they were just before Holidays in Eden came out in their sort of fandom?
It was funny because me and Mikey we knew the single was going to be due because we used to go record hunting like every Monday on release days, and we were in HMV in Newcastle, and we actually clocked. We're looking at the singles, the new singles releases, and we saw the cover.
I'd actually gone there to buy Jealousy by Pet Shop Boys, which was getting released the same day.
Yeah. And we'd looked and like we saw this blue cover, and it's like Mario they've changed the logo and they've changed
our logo.
But it was funny because you know how the single only came in at 42. I think it was a bit hampered because I don't think the CD single and stuff came out till the week later.
Well, I think
formats were out.
I think we'll talk about it when we do formats at the end, because it's certainly, by the time they got to Dryland, the formats were going through the roof. But I think it was a bit simple what they did on this one. But we'll talk about that.
But not everything as it was out on the first week, so I think that did hamper it a little bit. But we were really pumped and looking forward because for us just getting in on the season's end, at the end of season's end stuff, and just when that came out and hadn't been to see them yet, and we're looking forward to getting to see them on this tour. And we were well pumped for the build up to the album.
What about you, Stuart? Because you'd seen the Fish here, hadn't you? Tail end of that.
Yeah. I was amongst a big group of guys that were, dyed in the wool Fish Marillion fans, and we were the ones standing at the Barlands in Glasgow with our arms folded during the season's end tour, saying, "Right, come on, you buggers, impress me, come on then, what have you got?" And then, of course, they blew us away with Season's End. So this was the much anticipated, difficult second album, if you like, from the H. It was like, okay, but the first one knocked it out of the park. Is this going to be matching the depth that we got in Season's End? And Cover My Eyes was one of the first things I heard from that. And it's obviously a real move away from the kind of prog format because it's a single, and I think at that time especially, all of Marillion's singles were very singly, and very formatted,
Yeah.
but very, very good nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the song. Stuart, tell us about your views on the song itself.
Great. I really, really enjoy listening to it. I enjoy playing it. It's got that U2 kind of delayed guitar sound at the beginning that was very, very popular in the late 80s, early 90s, and very much the hook for a lot of people to listen to it and immediately go, I like that. It's familiar because, I mean, it is very kind of the edge, with the delay and all the rest of it. It is very poppy, as I said, but it's really, really good pop. And I mean, just because it's pop doesn't mean to say it's not great. It's the production in it is really, really nice. It starts off very simple and then builds and then keeps building and the chorus hits in. Harmonically, you know, the chord structure that's used is very, very straightforward, very simple, a little predictable, but that's fine. But I think that really helps people hook into it early, particularly people that perhaps aren't used to Marillion. So for you guys around the screen that saw it on the chart show or whatever, the fact that it was quite a simple harmonic song makes it quite easy on the ear and easy to lock into, I think. And again, very formulaic in that it kind of verse, chorus, middle eight solo, chorus to fade. But great content, great lyrics, great music. Really, really enjoyed it.
Cool. David, what did you make of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, I'm kind of in my early days of Marillion fandom, I guess, and I lapped it up. I mean, I think Stuart's described it very well there. You know, whilst it was commercial, there was nothing not to like about it in any way. Yeah, so I mean, you know, I loved it. Certainly the A side.
Yeah, we'll get on to that. Steady now, steady. Mikey, anything to add to that?
I think it just solidified my love for Marillion at this point. Having come off the back of Season's End, as Stuart quite rightly said, it's that difficult second album thing coming up, isn't it? And when we got the CD single, all three of those tracks are completely different from each other. So I don't think we kind of knew which direction the album was going to be heading in. But my eyes blew me away. I just thought, this is it. You know, H is making this band his own now. And his vocals in this song are absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. As you'll all mention, the guitar hook is just brilliant, simple, but very effective. And it's a great jumping on point for people, I think. And a crying shame the single didn't do better. But the video was everywhere as well. You know, chart show, it was on VH1 quite a bit. And Steve still looked good in it. What's not to like?
Gary?
I find it hard to analyze it because probably like James, I feel like it's part of my DNA now. But the thing I noticed, I listened to it on the way to work today, is H's vocals. They're it's almost like that Joe Elliott inflection at the end of every kind of line, like the oohs and the ahs. It's not all the time, but I noticed it more today than maybe I was just listening to it more than I had done previously, because I kind of taken it for granted after all these years. But yeah, I kind of noticed his voice is, it's incredible, but it's just got that kind of, there's more kind of pop inflections at the end of each line for me.
Yeah. Craig?
I've always loved it, but I can see with certain, knowing H's vocal over the years, I can see how it's quite in a high register. It's very, very sharp for him. So I could see how it could be quite Marmite for people, especially the Pain in Heaven high register vocals on it. So you either love it or you don't. I mean, our friend Ralph, who got us into Marillion, he's always called this song "Cover My Ears" because he's always hated it. So, so I can see both sides of it, but I've always loved it, and I think the change in sound, being the first single, it was very clean, it was very modern. I mean, the video was quite modern, looking, because everyone thought back then that, you know, with the whole Fish thing, that they were like a much older band than they actually were. You know, people thought that they were like in their 40s or something like that, when they were only just like in the late 20s, early 30s when this came out. And I think there was obviously a big uphill battle for them for reinventing themselves. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people who don't like the change in direction that they made for this album, for these singles, but I think it was actually needed and necessary. Whether it was a success or failure or not, they needed to go through this phase.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Okay. James?
Yeah, a bit like Gary. It's, you know, it's part of the DNA. It's part of the love of the band, really. But yeah, I think it's got a really sing along chorus. It's whenever it's played live, it's like, hey, something we can sing to.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just you can see, you know, looking at it now with hindsight, what the impact Chris Neal had on song structure and having that polish on to sort of those pop sensibilities more than they had before. But I think it's a great song. It should have gone higher than it did. Really should.
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys have said. I mean, it's got an incredible guitar riff, but the vocal melody hook as well is just, it's not like anything we'd heard before on a Marillion record. I mean, I played the studio version for the first time in a long time today because I'm used to listening to it live, whether that be on a live album or seeing the band live. And the production is incredible, I have to say. I mean, Chris Neal gets a really bad rap from some fans for this album, but it sounds fantastic. It really does. Really powerful.
Yeah, I would second that. I think the production, particularly on that single, is absolutely wonderful. And people keep mentioning this idea of H's vocal range. He does this thing at the end, the Pain in Heaven part. You know, he flips into his head voice as its falsetto, which is something that he rarely does, and it's not common to hear. And it's something that really sticks with you, and he absolutely nails it every time. And it's a wonderful sound.
Yeah.
So I disagree with the cover my ears part. I really like that bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's Ralph's you know, a law unto himself in it, Ralph.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to discuss it here. But the Mike Stone remix, which we'll discuss when we do the No One Can reissue, is an absolute banger of this song. It's really good. It's a lot.
And I was going to say, talking about that vocal thing, it's a rare impact from Rothers.
Is it?
Yeah, he suggested the Pain in Heaven vocal melody. It's the only time he's sort of done that apart from Your God.
Right. He didn't suggest it by singing it, I bet.
No, he probably didn't. No.
Was this is the song with the digital drums, right?
I would say so, listening to it.
Yeah.
They make Ian play a digital kit, and he was like,
yeah. We can ask Ian about that when we speak.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay, right. From the Sublime to track 2, which is How Can It Hurt? And Stuart, I'm just going to bypass you. I'll come back to you in a minute. I'm going to ask David about How Can It Hurt.
Yeah, interesting. I guess like most fans over the last 30 odd years, you know, one of the things that Marillion appeals to, you know, it's quite an emotional thing, you know, and I guess this was the first time I had any emotion about one of their songs, and the emotion was I absolutely hated it. You know, apart from the first 10 seconds, which I think is really good. I thought, what is this? What have they done? You know, he was obviously completely different from anything on Season's End, or, you know, or the main single, Cover My Eyes. I thought I was taken aback.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I didn't listen to it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'd listened to it more over recent years, but not as a go-to. I've probably played it more, obviously aware of this coming up tonight, I played it more over the last couple of days than I have for a long time. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, I had a similar sort of feeling today when I played it, because I have hated it for a lot of years, but it isn't as bad as I remember.
No, and I mean,
it's just a bit repetitive, isn't it?
Yeah, but forgive me if I'm wrong. I thought in there was some hints of what might be to come. In terms, there's a few bits in there. I think there's a little bit of Brave started to creep in there. Is that some of the sounds that have been made, and some of the way H was singing some of the vocals. There's one line which the you won't explain line. Listen to that. I think, oh, that bit, that little section could have come straight off Brave, and I guess possibly it's all part of the exploring about what they were about to become.
Yeah,
that album to come. So, but yeah, so I wouldn't say I love it now, but I don't hate it as much as I used to.
Okay, well, I apologise to you and everybody else because I knew you were going to say that. That's why I kept you first.
Yes.
Stuart, what do you make of How Can It Hurt?
When I first heard that, I thought, oh, this is like the opposite end of the spectrum from Cover My Eyes. This is almost like the band going, but we don't only do this stuff. This is the stuff we used to do. And it's really, really proggy, and not as easy a place to jump on as Cover My Eyes. So a lot of the guys I've been talking tonight, Cover My Eyes was their entry point, the kind of poppier end. Whereas this was the polar opposite end of the spectrum. This was strange time signatures that started off weird, and then when it got into the B section, got even weirder. A very, very difficult listen. It was almost like they were trying to prove a point to say, this is the pop side, but we also do this stuff too. And not an easy listen. I'd be lying if I said it was my favourite one. I was perhaps a little bit more accustomed to that vibe, coming from the older Marillion and other prog stuff, Yes and Genesis, etc. But not an easy listen.
No. Okay. Mikey?
Yeah, no.
Next.
I agree with David. The first 10 seconds are brilliant. You're getting that Tony Banks Genesis fishing rod reel in. You think, oh yes, this sounds good, and then it just no. I just find it too brash, and I agree with Stuart. It's a difficult listen. The time signatures interesting, but also weird to the point where it is difficult to listen to. And I just find the chorus a bit lazy and repetitive. Today was the first time in probably easily 10 years since I've last played it. And I have to say, I didn't hate it as much as I did back then. But back then, I would just skip it. It just never got played. I still would probably put it in my bottom 2 Marillion songs of all time.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Gary?
Yeah, kind of like everyone else is saying. For my 15-year-old brain, it was a bit too much, to be honest. But I was tapping along for the 4/4, and then it would go off. And this doesn't make any sense to me. And I listened to it again today, and it does something Stuart said. It sounds like they're all showing off.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're all. It's like this big splurge of guitar, and then they're like, oh, I'll do that, and then it's kind of like the song is based around them trying to impress each other or whoever.
That's exactly what I felt.
Like to me.
The phrase that kept coming back to me, Gary, was they're trying too hard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's probably why people don't. That's probably why, because normally they're complicated stuff, or what seems complicated, when it's good, it sounds effortless, and it's just forced.
This doesn't sound effortless, yeah. Craig, what do you make of How Can It Hurt?
I've always loved Marillion B-sides, and I think the B-sides from Season's End, all 3 of them, like After Me and the Release and Bell in the Sea, were brilliant songs. This, not so much. It was like hitting a brick wall after Cover My Eyes again. What the hell is this? But I think Dave Ibbott and Stuart Clyde, I think you have both hit the nail on the head with what you have said, that I don't hate it as much now as I did back then. But it was a what's this? And I think you're definitely right. It's a trying something different, and it did give you a little bit of a hint of what was to follow after this album.
Yeah.
But it's not a song that I ever go back to.
James, what do you make of it?
Yeah, a bit the same, really. I mean, after listening to cover, or finding Cover My Eyes and thinking, oh, this is good. I'm going to buy this, and then playing, and then this comes in. The initial, as I say, the guitar and everything, as a budding guitarist at the time, I thought, oh, this is great, and then it just goes all over the place. But listening back to it for the first time in a long time, is like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see what they're trying to do. I mean, it was to give you the history of the song quickly. It was the guitar riff was the first thing that came up, and they called it the Living Colour riff for obvious reasons. And again, it's a bit like Cover My Eyes. They tried it in different places and sort of tried to put it together a little bit, and then it seemed to get dropped. And I guess it was, and they've sort of said or alluded to, it was done because they didn't really have much else in the bank. It wasn't on the tape to send to Chris Neal. It wasn't done when they routined the songs at No Miss in February '91. So I'm guessing it was like, oh crap, we need a B-side. What we got? Oh, we got this riff. Let's spend a day just to see what we can get, and this came out of it.
Yeah.
Looking at what we know now, I would say, Reactor 1 could have been a better.
Even You Don't Need Anyone, which
Or even Don't Need Anyone,
about,
which should have been, which would have been a lot
that would have
better
been
as a B-side. Yeah.
To be fair, how Kaylee and Lady Nina worked together as a single, I think Cover My Eyes and You Don't Need Anyone would have actually worked.
I think if they'd recorded You Don't Need Anyone properly, EMI would have forced them to put it on the album.
Yeah, true.
Possible. Yeah,
I agree with everything. It's just not finished. I'm probably the biggest. Well, with James, probably the biggest prog head on here. I don't get prog from this at all, Stuart. It's just all over the shop, and it's not finished. It's too many ideas that just don't sit together really. But again, like a lot of you, listen to it today, and it's not as bad as I remember it. But that's calling it How Can It Hurt? Well, that pretty much describes the listening to it, doesn't it? I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
I do remember the car crash version in, was it the 2011 PZ when they did Holidays and the B-sides? It sort of all, it did hurt because it fell apart.
But how did anybody know that it actually was a car crash? Because it could have been perfectly played. It wouldn't have known.
But anyhow, after that, on the 12-inch and the CD, we got The Party, which is obviously one of the tracks from the album. Stuart, what do you make of The Party?
I found it awful literal. I think the lyrics for me were awfully literal. Okay, it was telling a story, but I didn't think there was an awful lot of craft in the lyrics. Just very much a telling of a story word for word. I'm not the biggest fan of The Party, I have to say. Got some issues with the continuity of the lyrics as well. It ends "Welcome to your first party." Well, this is the day after the party. Why would you welcome somebody the day after? So it's not one of my favourites. I'm afraid. I'm not a big fan of The Party.
David?
Similarly, I'm not a great fan of The Party. I mean, I led a bit of a sheltered teenage life, and I didn't really get invited to many parties, and so it's not something I particularly related to in any way. So it was a pleasant enough song, and I never skipped it on the album, but it never really did any great wonders for me. So,
okay, Mikey.
Well, I think The Party's fucking wonderful.
I remember yes.
I've always loved it. It's for different reasons. It's still one of the highlights on Holidays in Eden for me. It's up there with Splinter and Heart, but just for completely different reasons. And when I first heard this on the CD, I thought, well, this is what I want to listen to. It was just top-notch stuff, and I think The Party is kind of a taste of where probably lyrically they were heading towards with Brave. That storytelling, I can't praise it enough. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Cool. Gary?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't own a CD player till 1992, so I heard it for the first time on
the year after you got the telly. Was that
exactly? Yeah. But I like Mikey. I think it could well be a precursor story to The Girl in Brave. The thing I love about it, and I love the song, is it's almost got that She's Leaving Home kind of. When I hear She's Leaving Home, it's like someone's thrown me into
Yeah.
that world.
Yeah.
So when I listen to The Party, when I was a kid, I must have been 15, 16 when I heard it for the first time, kind of threw me into this world that I knew nothing about. And the atmosphere of it really was evocative. And as someone who was a kid at the time, yeah, I love it. I still love it now.
Yeah. Cool. Craig.
It's a good tune. It's never been one of my favourites on the album. It's mid tier for me. And sorry to say that, Gary Foley. I know you'll be listening, and obviously you did your legendary version and swap the band, and we love you. But it's not a song that's been one of my favourites in holidays. But I like David, I don't skip it.
Okay.
It's got a killer bass sound.
Yeah, well, I was just about. I'm gonna say my bit, James, then pass it to you because you'll know more about the origins of the song, if that's all right. I think Pete is amazing on this song.
That saves it for me as Pete's bass noise. It's absolutely glorious.
And just to pick up on your point, Stuart, about "Welcome to Your First Party," if you look at the lyrics, that's in inverted commas. It's and then it was yesterday, and he said, "Oh, by the way, welcome to your first party." So to me, that's kind of looking back on it. But
okay,
I might be miles off the mark with that, but I think it's great. I think it really is an insight into what the album was going to sound like. And after "How Can It Hurt," it gave me some positive thoughts about what was coming up. You know, they hadn't just chucked it all away and put 12 versions of "How Can It Hurt" on the album. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a little bit naive, the lyrics, but again, as a couple of the guys have said, it's kind of an insight into what the way H's mind works with lyrics and his storytelling aspect. I do get where you're coming from with "She's Leaving Home." I mean, "She's Leaving Home" is one of the best songs I've ever heard, and this isn't as good as that, but it's really, but it's really good. Yeah. James, what do you think of this song, and what do you know about the origins of it?
Yeah, I really like this song. I think it's got some echoes of what was coming with Brave. You know, that sort of isolated piano, the beginning of Bridge and Hollow Man, and you know, you can see where that formation subsequently was going. And talking about Pete's bass, I love it when they play it live because he bounces all over the stage. It's great. It's really an H song. It's his piano chords. It's the one he went when he was on his forced holiday. He's the one that went off and finished it. And it's got that naivety about it from his childhood, his adolescence in Doncaster. I think it's Doncaster. And I you know, I was 17, 18 at the time, and I could really relate to some of that, going to my first parties, you know, passing the bottle of cider around and stuff. And it was it had a bit of a slow put together because the band, I love it when it actually kicks in. It reminds me a bit of Splintering Heart. When that kicks in, I can see the echoes with The Party when the whole band flies at it. They tried a few different things. There was a bit of "How Can It Hurt." Actually, that riff was in the middle of that at one point. There was a little bit.
They didn't leave that in then.
Yeah, I think the version on. Did I put? Yes, I think the version
you have. Yeah.
The making of has got a bit of. Has got Eric in the middle of it because they did try and move it around a bit. But no, I think it's a great song, and I think when you listen to the 3 tracks after, you know, "How Can It Hurt," you listen to this, and it's just like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
For me, this was so it's a good song.
Cool. They're the 3 tracks on the CD and the 12-inch. Shall we talk about the video? Greg, you want to run us through the video and where?
Yeah, I mean, it was almost, you know, the only video that you can almost compare it to in a change of direction, a change of format, is go back to like the Assassin video where they tried to be a bit more high tech with basic computer graphics and things like that. So they did a similar kind of thing with this, where you've got H, and again, like we've already mentioned, you know, the extended version with H on this, like it's almost like a dentist's kind of chair, examination chair spinning round. You know, you've got band shots, you've got a girl in various different sexy outfits and things like that, and it's a pop video. It's a pure pop video.
Is this another one where you use your freeze frame?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
The video goes a bit fun. The VHS goes a bit dodgy, then, does it?
especially the version that was on the James Whale show that had a few more close-ups
Yes.
of the young lady.
How many times have you seen that now?
Enough to go blind.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a canny pop video, you know, for its time, and you know, I think the three videos for this album are some of the stronger videos that they've made.
And it was obviously on James Whale because that's where James saw it.
Yeah.
Anybody seen their Top of the Pops on this or not?
They did live. Well, they did a miming live on
Yeah.
Top of the Pops, which was the last time they were actually on Top of the Pops, and that was the first week where it came in at 42. So bizarrely, after the week after, the single actually went up rather than down. So their usual curse of being on Top of the Pops and the single dropping.
Do you think they got on because somebody cancelled? Because they wouldn't normally put acts on that were outside the 40, would they?
I think they'd been booked. I think they'd been pre-booked, to be fair.
Right.
It's on YouTube, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
I'd say that's as important as the chart show for me, because I always used to have it sounds really sad now. I used to have a tape ready to record music videos or bands, and I'd seen the chart show performance, and I realized they were going to be on Top of the Pops. So yeah, taped them on there and fell in love. I mean, my wife will tell you how much I love Steve Hogarth, and he was a good looking chap when he back then. Let's be honest. And he's grown his hair, and he looks a bit like, I remember once someone's commented on Twitter because we showed Top of the Pops, and someone said he was a bit like a Poundland Michael Hutchence, which I thought was a bit harsh.
A bit harsh, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But that I don't know how many times, talking about wearing out a video, I don't know how many times I replayed them playing on Top of the Pops, and yeah, that cemented again seeing them as a live unit. I know they were miming, but seeing them do their thing, it was like, I love these guys.
Mikey, you used to tape Top of the Pops every week, didn't you?
I did. Used to sit on the floor with the VHS recorder in front of me, and just keep taking my finger off the pause button and keep the record held down. Going back to that Peter Kay joke about the VHS library with all them god awful books around. Yeah. I had dozens and dozens of them. Oh, it was great fun, but thinking back, it's very cringe. Anyway, the thing about the Top of the Pops thing, I'm just looking at the new entries for that week, which I'll go through later. It was a thing on Top of the Pops where they would always pick one artist from the new entries that week. And it's very possible that looking at this list, that none of the others were actually available.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because it wasn't in the 40, I think they've got either a cancellation or something.
Very possibly.
But with Top of the Pops, back in the early noughties, Top of the Pops 2, they did was it a thing of like the top 100 performances and things and stuff like that voted by the public, and this actually got I think and Lavender both got in that top 100. But the BBC, being as clever as they did, they actually had this. Was it Steve Wright who was doing the voiceovers? He called this "Cover My Heart" instead of "Cover My Eyes." There you go.
Could have been worse. Cover my arse. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine like doing any other artist? You know, he has Elton John with sacrificial lambs.
Blue arse.
Did anyone else see? Did anyone else see them on a show called Go Getters?
Yeah. So
yes, because this was in when they were recording in the studio, weren't they?
Some of us.
It was the West Side. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of us. I was pretty much a child then, nearly in.
Keith Chegwin and that, wasn't it?
So they go to West Side Studios, and Go Getters was a terrible program where they had to go around and do tasks. So they had to go and perform with a band, and that band was Marillion. So, and they do about a minute of Cover My Eyes, miming to it with Michaela Strachan, Janice Long, and Keith Chegwin. I've got it on video somewhere. It's probably on YouTube. I think it is on YouTube. But that was another thing. I was like, oh, they're on kids' telly. They were everywhere.
Brilliant.
In the Netherlands, they were on that Countdown, which was the version of the chart show, and they were actually on for Cover My Eyes. I don't think they were for No One Can, but they were for Dryland later on.
Well, it mentions that in the Wikipedia, and it said it got to number 14 in the Netherlands. So it was
that's all come up on YouTube, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's all appeared on YouTube in the last year, I think.
Okay, let's talk about formats, and then Mikey can give us a chart update if that's okay. So you guys have mentioned a cassette single, so there was a 2-track cassette single for this. Craig, you think that was out first?
Yeah, I think the 7-inch and the cassette single and that were out on the first week, and I don't think the CD and the box set and things and stuff like that came the second week, because we definitely didn't get the CD till afterwards, because we got one of the vinyls and the cassette single first.
Yeah, I got the 12-inch on the first week.
Yeah,
I'm gutted I can't find my tape. I found everything else, but the tape came in a paper. Just
David's got one.
Someone's
there.
got it.
David's got it. Yeah.
Good man. There it is.
Yes.
Oh, I've gone all gooey-eyed.
Oh.
But I think the cover was definitely striking, because it was a partial piece of the album cover, with one of the deer on, and covered bigly with the new logo.
Yeah, I mean that was a major relaunch, wasn't it? The logo,
major relaunch, and obviously came with a big massive poster in. Is this the one? Is this the poster
Mike's about to show?
Yeah, because that's where the first time seeing his big coat that he wore on the tour.
So H has got his big car coat on there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was the 7-inch. There was the cassette single, there was the 12-inch with the poster, there was a dual case CD single, and there was a box set CD single with a little poster in as well.
Which had a little poster which is different. It's the logo, the front cover, and then the back has got kind of some moody pictures, solo pictures of the band. I don't know why I've only got the CD single in the box. Probably because I didn't need multiple versions of How Can It Hurt, if I'm honest.
Well, I've got me 12-inch vinyl here, me 7-inch vinyl.
Yeah,
as well.
nice one.
And this will come as a
I've
surprise.
got the box set and
I've got,
things and stuff.
David,
this comes as a surprise to you, John, because I bought obviously the 12-inch.
Yeah,
and obviously liked it so much. I bought another one.
Did you?
So it must be about the only song I've actually bought twice.
Oh, well, if you've got a spare one, then I might relieve you of that, if that's all right.
One of them was 99p.
I'll give you a quid. I'll give you a quid. Yeah, I'll give you a quid for that.
I don't think How Can It Hurt together still doesn't make it great.
Got it up to number 42 from 43.
Yeah, it was the poster. I needed some new wallpaper.
Mikey, what was happening in the charts at the same time?
Well, the release itself came in at 42, as we've mentioned, went up to 34, stayed at 34 for week 3, and then was 52, and then out of the charts. The week it was released, it was actually the 5th highest new entry. Gloria Estefan was in at 38 with Remember Me With Love. Don't recall that one at all.
Don't remember at all. No,
don't remember it at all.
No. With 27, we had the Pixies with Planet of Sound. At number 17 was Jealousy by Pet Shop Boys. And at 12, which was the highest new entry that week, was Madonna with the Holiday Collection EP, which I also bought that week. The top 10 goes as follows. The Doors with Light My Fire. I nearly said Relight My Fire, totally different.
Because the film was out at the time.
Because the film was out then.
Okay. Yeah.
The Oliver Stone film. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At 9 was KLF with Last Train to Trans Central.
Oh, good stuff.
8 was REM, Shiny Happy People. At 7, Soft Cell reissued Tainted Love as part of a greatest hits package. 6 was Kylie with Shocked. At 5 was Crystal Waters with Gypsy Woman, La Da Dee Da
Oh,
Dee
I
Da.
hated that song.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a great.
Sure, can hear elements of that in How Can It Hurt?
What the? Oh no!
At number 4 was Beverly Craven with Promise Me.
Oh, right, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
tune. That is
Yeah.
a tune, yeah.
Northern lass, isn't she, John?
She is. Right tune is
Yeah.
Promise Me.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
At number 3 was Amy Grant with Baby Baby.
Okay.
Cher was in at number 2 with the Shoop Shoop song.
Was that Mermaids that was from?
It's,
Or was it the film?
Yeah.
Yeah. And awfully, number 1 was a song called I Want to Sex You Up by Colour Me Bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I remember that, yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Oh, no, I hated that.
All right.
But there you go. That was the chart at the time.
All right. Well, let's just wrap the episode up by kind of saying what looking back on how Can It Hurt? Well, let it get stuck in my head now. Looking back on Cover My Eyes, where do you think it is in? What's its legacy for Marillion now, Stuart?
I think it probably attracted a lot of new listeners to Marillion that needed to come on board, perhaps for the band to go forward. I think most, well, maybe even half of the folk that are on the podcast today, this was their jumping on point, and I think that would probably be the legacy of this single, is that it attracted a lot of new listeners into Marillion that 30-something years down the line are still there.
Brilliant. David, anything to add to that?
Other than that, from a personal point of view, it kind of kept me interested. It wasn't. Had the single been "How Can It Hurt," then I might not have been sat here tonight.
No.
But
You saved a lot of money though, wouldn't you?
Well, this is true. But,
Well, not at half the fun.
No. Well, there you go.
Mikey?
I think for me it was just Marillion solidifying where they were and who they were at the time. It's like, we've survived Fish leaving. We're doing what we want to do. We're doing something different with this guy Edge, and it was just highly polished, well presented, well packaged. It was top-notch stuff, really was.
Yeah. Gary?
Well, I don't think it's played enough, really, because we're only a short kind of cross section of fans, but we all love it, and I think it should be played more. But like, they play festivals and things like that. It'd be the first on my list if they were playing a if I was in the band, I'm not playing a festival, that would be on my list for sure, because it is a great song and it's very special to me.
Yeah. Okay. Greg?
I've always loved it, but there's one little touch I think to mention that we didn't see on the artwork. On the very, very bottom corner on the singles, you've actually got the little wise monkey images, the see no speak no evil, that they used on the backdrop
Yes.
of the tour, and it was a nice little touch on there. And like, I don't think we're quite the wise monkeys on this bloody podcast, I tell you that. Bunch of monkeys though. But no, I think it's a very important song for the band, and I think we all love it live when they get to play it, because it just brings the atmosphere, brings the tempo up, and it's just great live.
James?
Not much else to say. Yeah, totally agree. I think it's been, I think as Stuart was saying, it's brought a lot of new fans in at the time. And I think it's really a song that you listen to it now and you don't think, God, was that released in 91?
Yeah.
I think they should do an anniversary mix for whenever the anniversary comes up, but this time do the Steve Wright version, and maybe call it "Cover My Thighs."
Well, Mark Kennedy does call it "Butter My Thighs," so it's, but it is, this year is its 35th anniversary.
Wow.
When we actually covered the episode originally, it was me, John, and Mikey. We did this as one of our very first episodes of the pod, and I think it deserves another relook properly. Like,
Yeah. Well,
for
we will
35th anniversary.
Yeah, sneak preview. We will be revisiting a few albums that Craig and I did with maybe one or two of our friends with a bigger group. So yeah, I think I agree with you guys. It's it's great live. They don't play it enough, and great single. All that remains to be said is thank you to James Levey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Stuart Clyde.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, David Ibbott.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, David. Thank you, Mikey Kay.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Gary Page.
Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Thank you. And to my podcast other half, thank you, Craig.
Why, thank you, young sir, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes, we'll be along very shortly with another one of these charting the singles. You bet you can guess what that's going to be about. All that remains to be said is it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
And stay alive. Woohoo! Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot for all the good stuff.